Hold on. Oh, it says you are live. Okay. So, what's up, y'all? It's your girl Kendra. And today I am finally launching my Tough Topic Tuesdays. I know it's been a long time coming, but we're here, right? We're here. So, for those of you that are new, I wanted to let y'all know that the reason that I decided to do Tough Topic Tuesdays or TT Tuesdays is um, I forgot. I just had a brain fart. The reason I decided to do Tough Topic Tuesdays is to talk about tough topics and also to give people a safe place where they can objectively voice their opinions and also share stories if they like. Last week, I shared a story about my upbringing, and it talked about, my stepfather and my mom. So because I shared that story, I got a lot of inboxes and I got a lot of people that just wanted to tell me about their stories and, pretty much just let me know that I'm not alone. And Celeste was one of those people. So she has a story to tell. And I thank you for being my first person or the first person to be featured on my Tough Topic Tuesday. So thank you. So I'm going to give you the floor. Go ahead. Just introduce yourself a little bit. Let us know a little bit about yourself, and then you can hop into your story from there.
Okay. Well, my name is Celeste. I'm hanging with Celeste on YouTube.
There we go.
And I am 33 years old. I have three beautiful children. I'm a person that has been through a lot. And I've also been through the foster care system for majority of my life from like damn near birth, but I'm gonna say from 3 to 18.
Okay.
So basically, since I was young, coming into being grown, I eventually ended up going through some other things, which my story is so much, so I'm writing a book about it as well. But
Hey.
I wanted to talk about the topic that Shakendra shared and my story. So I thought it would be beneficial that people hear my story.
Yes.
So basically, I went through foster care due to my mom doing alcohol and drugs. And not only that, I guess she cared so much about her drugs and what she wanted to do in life that things began to happen to me, or she let things happen to me. And I know that alcoholism is a sickness.
Yes.
And sometimes we cannot help that.
Mm-hmm.
But I still hurt from that. I guess when I was 3, my mom needed a babysitter. So she wanted to go get drugs or do whatever it was for her, whatever she wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
She ended up leaving me with the uncle, which was her brother. And when she ran off and left me with that uncle, I ended up being molested. When
Okay.
that happened to me,
How
how
old are you?
I was about 3.
Okay.
That was like the year I was removed. So it was like, when I got removed, it was based on what happened. So
Mm-hmm.
like basically, my stepfather came home. When my stepfather came home, he saw that I was irritated and I really couldn't use words to describe what was wrong. So he basically like placed me on a table and opened my diaper and saw irritation. And so when he seen that, he took me to the nearest hospital. And once he got me to the nearest hospital, they checked me for like basically, I didn't even know they could do this, but they checked me for like STDs,
Oh
and
yeah,
they
they can
pulled
do
it.
that definitely.
Yeah, they did tests. And so they also said that semen was found inside of me, which meant
Amen.
my uncle molested me, which is pretty deep. And so that is how I end up in foster care. And what happened was she basically told them, do you want to press charges? And she was like, no, I can't do that. That's my
So
brother,
who is she? Your mom or
my biological mom.
okay?
So,
So she was asked if she wanted to press charges. This was her brother.
mhm,
She was
her
asked.
brother.
She was asked if she wanted to press charges on her brother, and the answer was no.
Yeah, she said, no, I'm not sending my brother to prison.
So pretty much, what it's seeming like is that she chose.
Her brother over me.
Okay.
So she didn't care. All she cared about was sparing her brother's livelihood. Like, so you're gonna let somebody do this to your child and not protect them? Like,
Right.
how do you do that as a mom? I can't even see it as a woman today. I don't understand.
Right.
But once she told them that, they told her, since you don't want to press charges, we're gonna have to take the children.
Of course.
And that's how we ended up getting removed. Um, this later ended up coming back up in life during my mom's funeral arrangement,
Mhm.
and we were putting together my mom's funeral arrangements, and they were
Mhm.
trying to like shove
So
my.
when was this? Like, fast forward, what year was this?
This was 2000
What year was this? So fast forward.
2008.
Okay.
So I was
Okay.
pregnant with my youngest daughter then. So
Okay.
I'm basically pregnant and helping put together my biological mother's funeral. And while we're there, the situation came up because things led to me having to bring it up. They
Okay.
basically tried to send my little brother, who has issues and probably can't defend himself. They tried
Uh-huh.
to send him to that very uncle's house. So he's like, I want to say in his 20s or so. And they're trying to shove him over there. And so I put my sister in the bathroom. I'm like, they told me to leave this specific uncle alone. And I don't understand why they're trying to shove our brother over there. But wherever he is, we go. And wherever we go, he goes.
Right.
So they're like, no, he going over Uncle so and so's house. He going over there. And I don't care if y'all don't like it. So that's when I pulled my sister in the bathroom. I'm like, look, yo, um, I don't know what we're gonna do, but we're gonna have to pull this together. So we go back, we start doing the funeral arrangements, and she brought it up. She was like, I heard this is what happened to my sister when we were younger. I heard about the molestation. Is that true? And she basically was like, that's not what happened. Let me tell you what happened, making up a whole new story, trying to put it off on like another person.
Mhm.
And I was just like, oh wow, they're really defending him to the end.
Of course.
So like I'm like, these it's not just my mom, it's the whole family. They want to defend this person. I don't even remember this happening to me because I was 3. I was being protected.
You were
So that's
only
how,
3.
yeah, I was being protected from him because I was having conversations trying to get to know the family. When you go through foster care, you eventually find your family. So like I was giving him the same amount of trying to get to know him as everybody else. And so someone called me and was like,
So, can I ask you a question?
uh-huh.
In foster care, obviously I've never been, if I'm going to ask this question, but how is it that you get reunited with family? Like, is it through you asking questions, or once you hit a certain age, do they just say, here, this is who your biological parents are, this is who your biological family is? Like, how does that process actually work?
Well, how that process happened was I actually found my biological mom on my own.
Okay.
I was curious, and I was about 16 years old, I want to say. And all I had wanted for my birthday was to meet my biological mom because I had never seen her. I didn't know her name till I was like 12 years old. So I'm like when I turned 16, I'm like, I know her name now. Why come I can't find her? Well, you can't have contact because it's dangerous, and they wouldn't really tell me why. I never knew until this situation happened. So when I found my mom and met her, I started getting to know her. I only knew her for about 5 years before she passed away. And all they would tell me was, your mom was doing drugs and alcohol. That's why you guys went through foster care. But they never told me that one very important part. And so I could have been in danger again as a grown woman without
Mhm.
knowing. But
Mhm.
I'm smart enough to know, like, something ain't right when something ain't right.
Right.
So like back to like putting a funeral together, they basically got mad at me once it was brought up, and I didn't bring it up, my sister did. And it
Mhm.
was like they got mad at me and told me to get out. Like I wasn't allowed at the house helping put together the funeral, nothing. And
But
they were
this is your mom's funeral.
mm-hmm, and they were like, get out. You don't talk about, you're slandering my brother's name. That's not what happened, and that didn't happen. And I'm like, well, so why would somebody make up a whole story and tell me what happened to me when I was 3 and tell me to stop talking to this person?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? That makes no sense. So I'm like, so my stepfather's very upset because he's the one that took me to the hospital when this happened. And he was like, I'm not going to go to the funeral because I'll be done killed somebody because they sitting up here saying I'm lying to y'all, or my daughter lying, telling you what happened, and that's what happened. He did that. And even like today, when I go around, they say that to me. They'll be like, that story you heard about what happened to you, that happened to you. Believe it, and you stay away from him. So they even was warning me. So like,
So I have a question. I know you had another encounter because we briefly talked. I didn't get all of the details, but I know that you had an encounter with him that helped you realize, oh yeah, oh yeah, he did that shit.
oh yeah, I was 16. I was at home with my foster mom, and even after the person told me stop talking to you, he don't stop talking to him. He don't look at you as a niece. Don't That's dangerous. Leave him alone. I decided to like kind of give benefit of the doubt. Like I don't remember it happening to me, so why am I gonna cut out talking to this person?
Right.
So I'm talking to him. He's like, I wanted to get you a gift. What color panties do you like to wear? And that's when I was like, what? This is true.
Your
Like
uncle.
as an uncle, why would you ask me that?
Out of all the gifts that your uncle could get you, he wanted to know what type of panties you like to wear.
Exactly. And I was 16. I'm like, so whatever they say he did to me when I was 3, he did that. Because I don't know an uncle that'll outright ask a niece that. That's weird. That's not normal.
No, that's not normal at all. So after that, did you just stop talking to him? Like what happened? What made you like really just cut all ties with him? Like, because I mean, it's not like you were like in close contact with him and talking to him on the regular, but after that situation right there, what made you just like completely just say, you know what? Fuck this.
That was the straw. Cause I felt awkward and I'm just basically like looking at the phone like, did he just yeah, I ain't tripping. So when I hung up, I'm like, I ain't gonna be talking to him no more. He made me feel awkward. I felt weird and I felt uncomfortable. That's what did it for me. And then at my mom's funeral, it was brought up, you know. So she basically was like, get out, you can't be here, you slandering my brother's name. She was like, I want you to apologize to my brother. And I was like, really? You're gonna apologize? I'm not even the one that brought it up. My sister did because y'all was trying to throw my brother off over there, and I was secretly trying to warn her on why he shouldn't go over there. I don't
Right.
know if he was into little boys or if it was just girls. I don't know. So like,
Sometimes it's both.
yeah. So I was like, what's the problem? And so they kicked me out. And then she was like, well, before you go, you gonna call my brother and apologize on the slander you putting on his name.
Oh.
So I was like, okay. I don't remember this happening to me. I was told out of protection for me, your sister want me to apologize to you for what's being said about you or what was being brought up. He told me, you don't gotta apologize to me. I know what I did and didn't do. And
So
that
he
for me,
indirectly said, I did that shit, so I don't deserve your apology.
basically. And I was like, I don't even remember it. You could have made up a story, made up a lie, and say that ain't true. You could have hung up on me. That's the first thing that come out your mouth. I don't know if that was his way of like, how can you explain it? I don't know if that was his way of like just not hiding from what was, or if it's just not a thing to him and it's normal to him. So I'm just gonna say, yeah, I did it.
I
It was
just
kind of
don't.
weird.
I guess what I'm struggling with is why, especially if you were 3 years old, I don't understand. Like even if the family didn't want to press charges on him, why they wouldn't pick that up? Because it's, you know what I'm saying? Why the state wouldn't pick that up?
But see, I
Would you need
never
family to actually go to court and convict him? Like I just don't understand why the state wouldn't pick that up. That's like horrible.
I don't know if they picked it up or not because it was like probably back in the 80s. I was born in 86. So around 89 or 90 is when
Hey,
that
shout out to
Mustang,
86.
yeah, around 80s or 90s is when that would have happened. So like, I don't know if it was different back then or what happened. I don't even really know specifically what happened once they knew that he did it because I was so young. So I'm not for sure.
Do you know if he had to register as a sex offender or?
Oh, before he passed away, he was registered as a sex
Okay,
offender.
so more than likely he probably was convicted, even if not for you.
It was for
He
somebody
served
else.
time. It was, yeah, he definitely served time because in order for that to happen, you had to go down in the books as a molester or, as somebody a pedophile.
Right. And then on top of that, I even got so curious that I I looked up all of the uncles, and they all had gross GSI, which is gross sexual impenetration, rape, all kind of sexual charges. And I was like, all of them do this.
They were
All of
all,
them. They are all sexual offenders.
how many brothers?
My grandma and grandpa biologically, my biological family. I don't know much about them, but I know that my grandma and grandpa, my biological grandma and grandpa, got like 9 kids. So it's like Uncle LM, Uncle Charles, Uncle Ray, Uncle. It's a couple of them. Sonny. They all are in the records, and I saw it for myself. I was like,
All of them?
all of them.
That's a sickness. I'm wondering if that shit is like genetics. That's or like a mental. It got to be like a mental illness or something.
I
Because
was
I'm.
baffled when I saw it because I was like, so it wasn't just me, it was a couple of people. Maybe she really was telling the story of something that he did to somebody else, but using that to cover up what he did to me.
That's so unfortunate. Like, I'm sorry you had to go through that, Celeste.
Yeah.
Like, but you just like me and many other women and even young girls right now, they're dealing with that and it's not right. I feel like we definitely have to do our part, especially that we have kids. You know what I'm saying? So I guess my question to you is, what are you doing right now to ensure that your children don't have to go through that or to make sure that you're protecting them and you break that?
With me, um, even if whether you're raising your children full time or not, or you got visitation, or there's always a way to protect your children. With me, my children, I have a male friend that I'm dealing with, that I was in a relationship with, and he has a daughter. But I don't let that be like, okay, he got a daughter, he ain't gonna do that.
Right. Oh
I,
no.
I don't even trust that. That's not even gonna
No,
stop.
because most of the time, a lot of these men do it to their own kids,
Hmm. And
So,
even if they make a vow to not touch their own, they will touch somebody else's, whether they
oh,
got their
right,
own or not.
right.
So like with me, it's like, like they like to play with his daughter, and they'll be like, okay, can I go down to his house to play with Shia? We just want to no, because at the end of the day, that's still a man, and he's single father raising her. If you go down to her house, I have to be with you,
Right,
and I will sit there until everything is over. And trust and believe. I ask questions like I ask my daughters when we're around him. Are you comfortable? Do
right,
you don't see any weird looks? Are he don't say anything weird to you? I ask my daughter questions.
right, right,
And then this is like really the first time ever that I allow my children to like be around any man that I've had, and they're teenagers now.
right.
So when they
Because
were younger, I definitely had them on lockdown. I was just so scared and terrified.
even though, I mean, I know you were 3, it still does something to you psychologically. You know what I'm
It
saying?
does.
So you build up that you build a distrust for men or for people, period. Men especially, because that a lot of them, most of the pedophiles that are actually registered and the child molesters, I'm not saying there aren't any women, but most of
Mhm.
them are men.
Right.
And that's just a fact. So it's just like because you've gone through something, I know for me, especially, it definitely made or created a space that I didn't trust men. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
I pretty much looked at certain situations like, no, like hell no.
Right.
Especially when it came down to my kids, it was like, oh no, spending night at people's house, doing certain things. It was almost like, no, I mean, they could come here if their parents allow them, but you can't go over there.
Yeah.
So it definitely created some shit that
Like, okay, like when me, like today, my kids got in trouble for being outside talking. I don't want them talking to nobody, men, women, nothing. And
changes. It's crazy. It's crazy nowadays.
yeah, and I'm just like, they're like, he just gave us this or asked us
No,
this.
oh hell no.
No, you can't accept anything.
Nah.
When you're outside, you are not to speak to any man outside. I don't even want them speaking to women. But when it comes to men, they get too close, you back, or you come in the house. Like,
Trying to buy you candy and shit so they can lure you in their car or in their house.
yeah,
Nah,
I don't
nah.
play that. I watch mine. They got in trouble for that today. I don't play because I have to go to school at home, and I really don't even want them like like outside if I'm not outside to watch them because I can't see everything. But then I have a balcony where I can look down and see where they're at, and I can call their name and they can hear me. you know. So like I have a careful watch on my daughters.
Right. We have to. We have
Yeah.
to. That's how it is. And it's not just from men, it's from, like you said, it's from everybody.
Mhm.
Nowadays, even the women are setting kids up to kidnap them or to do
Mhm.
sex trafficking is at an all-time high.
Or some
So,
people, some women, they want their mate so much to the point where, if I don't know if it's a drug thing or a non-drug thing too,
thing. I know
they
where you headed.
they'll let the man do that to them to get what they need or what they want, or to feel like, okay, this man ain't gonna keep me unless I let him. No, you don't let somebody do that to your child.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
And to a certain extent, I feel like that was my mom. I feel like she was just like, oh, hell no, I am not letting you go. Hell no, I'm not letting these drugs that you're giving me, I'm not letting that shit go. So I heard it,
Whatever
but
you
I don't
want.
care. Like, whatever you
Mhm.
want to do, so
That is
it's
so sad.
yeah, it's
And
messed
then
up.
and then that's not even like the first time I had to deal with that situation back again, like when I was 16. So like that was something I had to deal with again once I got older. And then 12. Like I just went through the situation a couple times, and I feel some kind of
So, so hold on. So it's a couple times from different men.
way. Mhm. Like
So,
I was in foster care with the lady that I was living with, where I found my mom at that point. Her son was 30 something years old doing that to me, and I was 16. So basically, I had to catch him the best way I knew how, and I caught him. And they took him to court. They wouldn't do a lie detector test on me because I was a minor,
minor.
but they did his, and he got off on it by being a correction officer. So I guess he was like working at the prison, and like the
Hold on, I'm
inmate.
sorry. This fool was
Hmm.
a correctional officer.
He was a correctional officer, and they basically, one of the inmates told him, "Man, you can get off on that. Let me tell you what to do. Go to the doctor, get these pills, and let it mess with your heart rate. And that way, when you do the test, it came back inconclusive." And I tried so hard to get them to let me take the polygraph. They wouldn't let me do it because I was a minor. And then, even since I've been grown, he's tried to make passes. Because he told me, he said, "You think I'm mad at you for what you did?" He was like, "If we do it again, would that make you feel comfortable?" No, I'm grown and you're married now. Keep it up, and I'm gonna let your wife know what you're doing, because she don't know what she married to. She really don't. So I've had a couple situations like that.
So I'm why do you think that? Why do you think you've had multiple encounters? You know what I'm saying? And not at all, I'm not trying to blame you at all. It's not your
Oh
fault.
yeah,
These
I
men are
know.
sick. But I just want to know why, because honestly, I've only encountered it. You know what? I'm lying. I definitely encountered it twice. I did.
Mm.
So,
I feel
um,
like the I feel like the people that cared for me, or that were supposed to care for me, weren't protecting me. Like, okay, like when that happened to me again when I was 16, I would do things like ask, "Can I go outside?" And she would say, "No, you're not going outside till I get home." Well, your son has a key to every room in this house and every door in this house. How am I going to get away from him? And you're at work. You can't protect me.
so maybe that was her way of giving you to her son. Because did
I
you
never
tell
thought
her?
of it like that. Yeah, I ended up catching him to be able to tell on him. Um, what happened was, another young lady, she ended up getting another young lady. And the young lady that she had got was her step granddaughter. So when she got her step granddaughter, one day he called the house, and I was like, when he called the first time, she picked up the other phone in the house, and I was on the phone, and he heard somebody else click in on the line, and I guess he hung up because he didn't want to be on the line with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So when he hung up, um, basically he was like, "Oh, I'll call back." So when he called back, that's when I told her, I said, let me tell you something. I went on ahead and told her what was going on. I said, look, I'm going through this and he's doing this to me. I said, I want you to do me a favor. Pick up the phone and put it on mute. And I want you to listen. So when I picked up the phone, I let him say whatever he was going to say. Oh, we're going to do that when we get home, right? Instead of me saying no, I just went on ahead with it so I can get proof that this is what this man is doing. And that's how we caught him. And so I was removed from the home then.
So how many homes were you in?
35.
How many?
35 or over.
The fuck? 35 and just that little bit of time? And just those from 3 until
3 until 18. I mean, I went through children's homes.
How does that even happen?
Some people, when they take in kids, they don't want to take a set. I came with 2 other siblings. So like it was like, okay, I want one girl, but I don't want the other girl and the other boy. Or I keep them for a minute and then I'll send them back or somebody else can take them. Like that kind of thing. Or I was having like issues with my behavior because of the stuff I had been through. So like I know one of the ladies, I had set her trash can on fire. I was like only like 7. So they took me from her and I had to get past it. I guess she said, oh no, I ain't dealing with no kids that setting fires. So they took me and gave me to somebody else. And so then I kept getting moved around. But then by the time I hit 12, I ended up getting adopted. And I got removed from her because it was an abusive situation.
So you were with her from 12 until what age?
12. I mean, no, I'm sorry, 8 to 12.
Okay, from 8 to 12. And and then from 12 until 18, were you with one family or you were bounced around again? And then
I was bounced around from until I was 18. I lived in a children's home. It was this place called Christian Children's Home of Ohio. I lived in different like programs to learn how to be independent. I basically was a little bit of everywhere. I've been to Worcester, I've been to Ohio, I've been to Akron, I lived in Youngstown, I've been everywhere. I've been in Greene, Ohio, I've been a little bit everywhere. Kent, Ohio, Akron, Cleveland.
You know what's so crazy about you talking about foster care? Because in my story that I shared, I mentioned how a part of me wanted to tell, a part of me wanted to go to school and tell counselors, or a part of me wanted to tell more people or more adults in my family. But I didn't want foster care. I felt like because it was so many of us, it was like my mom had 6 kids, and at times she had 2 and 3 others that she was taking. So it was 9 of us for a long time in her house. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like because we had each other. Like I've heard stories about the foster care system, and I have not heard any of them that were good. I haven't heard any, especially when it comes to us Black folks. You know what I'm saying? It just makes me like the pattern, like it's just ongoing. The pattern. These people know you're broken. These people know that you've gone through stuff, and then yet you can still get in the household and people mistreat you. That son where he was sexually abusing you, and then that mom was abusing you physically. Like what the fuck?
But you know what? A lot of these people, what they do is they do like a fingerprint, and if there's a grown man in the house, they do background checks. And some of these men don't have background checks. They end up developing this want to all of a sudden do that to a little girl that's coming into they people's home or their mom's home or something. Because, and then some of these, I will be honest, I believe that, and this is what I believe happened and how her son got away with it. She hid her son. Basically, when the social workers would come out and do a check, he wouldn't be there. But then as soon as the home is stable and she knows social workers ain't coming around like they need to or like they were, here's the son. Now he's living.
How old was he?
He was 30.
How old was he?
He was about, if I had to say 30, anywhere from age 33 to 35. And I was 16.
Wow.
Yeah. I had it happen.
So you feel like a lot of them probably aren't like that, but because they know your story, or because they feel like that happened to you, an urge just out of nowhere appears.
Yeah. Like they just all of a sudden want to try. And then you know what? What's weird is when it happened when I was 16, he was questioning me when I first moved in, and I didn't realize why he was asking me these personal questions until after the matter. Like when I first moved in, he was like, "You a good girl?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He like, "You ain't ever had sex? You a virgin?" And I would tell him yes. He was actually grooming me, like to see
Mm.
that, you know, oh, I could try that because it ain't been touched. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
asking personal questions. And I didn't realize, I'm like, dang, how was he when I first met him when I moved into the house? I'm like, we had a conversation. I sat on the stairs in the basement. He was asking me, was I a good girl? Was I a virgin? Then it hit me like, oh, he was grooming to see if he could try it. And it never hit
Mm.
me until I got out the home why he was asking me that when I first moved in. So yeah.
So I have a question to ask you. Out of
Mhm.
everything that you went through, what is the most valuable lesson that you can honestly sit here and say that you've learned with everything that you've gone through? What is the most valuable thing that you've learned?
The most valuable thing that I've learned is you have to protect your children and you can't be in denial. To me, people that let things happen to their children or things happen to their children because it's a boyfriend or a family member, they want to take that family member side and, oh, if it did happen, I'm gonna be in denial about it. So I learned that the most valuable lesson, you have to protect your kid and you can't take sides whether it's a family member or not. You have to believe your child when your child says that someone touched me, someone did something to me. So like that's my most valuable lesson. And you can't be in denial, and you just,
Talk to your kids. Talk to
talk
them.
to them, ask them questions. When you're around a man in your relationship, ask them questions. I don't care if it's your man, your brother. My kids can't even sit on my brother's lap. They can't do none of
No,
that. I don't play
no,
that at all. I don't care who it
no,
is.
no.
Because the moment you tell me, oh, Uncle so and so did this or cousin, I'm not about to be like, oh no, that's family. They don't do stuff. If they say they did it, they did it. I don't take
Yeah,
sides, and I don't care how you relate it to me.
yeah.
So that's my rules. I don't be in denial. I live in
So,
my truth.
oh yeah, you got to live in your truth.
Hmm.
And I think we're silent so much when we're kids because we're afraid. I was quiet because I didn't want to be taken away from my mom, even though
Hmm.
it was bad, but I also didn't want her to not like me, and which she still ended up not liking me. Like, it's just a lot of reasons where we're
Wow.
silenced. You know what I'm saying? So
See, like,
I,
'cause I'm writing a book and I worry about like guilt. Like, I'd be like, I don't want to put in a book that this happened to me or
girl, it's your
this.
story, boo.
And I'm
It's
just
your
like,
story.
you know what? I can't even worry about that. This is my story, and it's not a story unless I tell everything. So if you want to
Right.
hate me, be mad at me because you got a hold to the book when I released it, oh well, this is my story.
Maybe, I mean, for the innocent people that never done you nothing, I would probably just do initials. But for the people, the motherfuckers that you really want to put out there, like, I will
Well,
definitely give their
I
name.
ended up changing
Even if
every.
it's just the first name.
Yeah, I ended up changing everybody's name. Like it might be
Okay.
similar to their name, but because
Okay.
people can come after you when you release that book and be like, "Oh, you
The
slandering me."
defamation.
Yeah. So like, whether it's true or not, they can still take you down because you didn't get permission to put them in your book. So what I did is, you ain't even
Mm.
got to give me permission. I just change your whole name.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I didn't
So
even think of that.
I worked around it.
So I wanted to do this Tough Topic Tuesdays because there's so many of us that you see the celebrities, you know what I'm saying? You see
Yeah.
the higher YouTubers, they only want to do stuff like this for people that are famous or for
Hmm.
people that they can get clout off of, or you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I haven't really seen anything like this for us small YouTubers or for us regular people. You know
That
what I'm
ain't really
saying?
out.
So
Yeah.
I don't see that. Even talk shows, even when you watch TV, they only want to do it to people who or
Are
hear the story of people who are already known or who's already famous. So I definitely wanted to do this Tough Topic Tuesday so that if anybody is, going through anything, like we're definitely going to discuss tough topics. If you feel like you have a story that you want to share, definitely, let me know. Hit me up. My Instagram is at No Chaser. That's NOCHASSER. We're Hanging with Celeste. That's her hanging with Celeste. That's her
Yeah.
YouTube handle. But then what's your IG handle? Your IG handle is
Um,
Celeste.
I think it's
What's
just underscore Celeste.
okay. Okay. So that's your IG, just underscore
Mhm.
Celeste.
Mhm.
Okay. So and I'll definitely put her handles below, y'all, so y'all can go ahead and support the girl. And is there anything else that you would like to say, Celeste? Like, I really do appreciate you getting on here and telling your story and
You're
talking about
welcome.
what it is that you went through.
I just
And
I guess I could say that I have built up anger and frustration about it still to this day, but I'm dealing with it. Like just the night before we discussed we was gonna do this, and I was just like in a funk. Like, but I'm like, I'm gonna do it anyway. I've been so in a funk, and I noticed I start getting angry
mhm,
because I knew I had to bring it up. And I even started talking to my friend about it, like, man, I'm just angry because I felt like I wasn't protected as a child. And I just feel like I'm
yeah.
up here trying to like save them and not put the whole story in the book. But to me, where you didn't protect me when it's happened to me. So why should I protect you? And I just find
Well, sis,
myself
you know what? When it comes to that anger, I think you just got to let that shit go. Definitely, we're going to go through like different episodes. Some episodes I'm just like, well, maybe it wasn't that bad. You see, that's that I forget what syndrome that is. But sometimes I'm like, oh, well, maybe it wasn't that bad. Then I'm like, that nigga tried it. I go
Mhm.
through a lot of emotions, mixed emotions about it. And I've never really discussed my situation until like I'm 33 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So this is the first time that I'm actually able to talk about it and not feel bad about talking about it, or not feel like I'm trying to protect somebody, or I'm trying to, sugarcoat anything, because ain't no
Mhm.
sugarcoating no more. Like, you know what I'm
Right. They
saying?
didn't sugarcoat when shit was happening to you
Right.
or trying to protect you. So I would just let it be. And that's what I'm learning, that I just gotta let it be. These people
Right.
don't call me and check on me and ask me how I'm
Nah.
doing. Forget them.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna tell my story. And if you hate me after that, I don't care.
Yeah.
This is my story, like, and how I felt.
That's
So
I always say, if you don't want to be a part of my story, if you don't like how you were presented in my story, then maybe you should have treated me right or better.
mhm.
And
Like I said,
I
I'm gonna
would
live
have had
in
a
my
better story to
truth.
tell about you.
Right. I'm gonna live in my truth. True.
That's
I
it.
don't
That's
really
all we can
care.
do.
And I'm gonna
That's
tell
all
your
we can
story
do.
since you want to cover it up. So yeah. So I mean, I guess I don't know.
That's real. That's real. So again, I thank you again, Celeste. I really do.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it. You my girl.
Aw,
I appreciate all your support.
whatever you need, I got you.
I know you do. Y'all go follow Celeste, please do that. And we had somebody said, "Hey, love," in the comments.
Okay.
But you'll be able to see it later if you go
Okay.
back and watch over it. I'm so weird. Like when I do a video or something, I'm like, oh, I don't want to see it. Are you like that?
Yeah, like, oh, how did it go? Did it go good? Did
Like,
everything go right?
I
Yeah.
hate that. It's like,
That's why
girl,
I don't that's why I don't go live.
you don't rewatch. You don't rewatch yourself.
I am gonna rewatch it though.
Okay, no, I was gonna say you better rewatch this one.
I'll go rewatch it.
Okay, so again, I thank you so much. I really do. I thank you for being the first feature on Tough Topic
You
Tuesdays.
are very welcome.
It's plenty more to come. Again, like I said, y'all follow Celeste. And until next time, y'all.
Bye.
Peace. Celeste just dropped off.